Hello again, it's Garson, and this is a quick guide for the new subclass for rogues, the Swashbuckler, the eccentric swords fighter that uses finesse and always has a card to play with the dirty tricks, right? For instance, we have the new awesome flick of the wrist, a little flick of the wrist. And now we've disarmed the opponent. And there we go. And I will go ahead and pick up his weapon, he can't do nothing about it. And I can get an easier time at dirty tricks, sneak attack, just like that. So, this is the Swashbuckler. I'm going to reload like usual, bust out some notes. We've got a lot to cover. Actually, this one's going to be a little quicker because it's Swashbuckler Rogue and it keeps it nice and simple, but tons of fun. In fact, if you enjoy pirates or musketeers, if you like the eccentric swordsman archetype and you always like having a card to play, this is going to be for you, especially if you've never played a rogue before. I can't highly recommend this enough. All right, so big thank you to those watching. I'm going to keep it quick, keep it rolling. Let's get right into it. To make things easier, I've tried to keep this nice and organized if you want to cut around and find what you need. Otherwise, watch the whole thing, because here we go. This is a quick guide, and in the context of a quick guide here, what I'm trying to do is not make the best, strongest, most advanced character. What I'm trying to do is get you in, play the new subclasses, and have a lot of fun by getting to the point, doing what it does, and feeling the subclass and doing it well, okay? There's tons of breakdown videos and whatnot, and builds and multi-classes. I have some of my own, and they're out there. I'm going to give you some links in the comments. So otherwise, let's get into it and have some fun right off the bat. Now, I have played every new subclass in honor mode and beaten it, so this is what I think is going to be the most fun, simple way to play this new subclass and get right in and understand it. What is it? Well, it's a fancy swords fighter that uses dirty tricks and disarms, embarrasses the foes, right? I can't describe it any better than that, and it really feels that way mechanically. But what you are going to get in the package when you play this subclass, and hopefully I can help you do that, you get great burst damage thanks to sneak attack and how much easier it is to actually apply sneak attack. The more you level up the rogue, the more this grows in power. You get awesome bonus actions and utilities. Rogues already have cunning actions, but now you have the dirty trick suite, and it's excellent. I love this. Okay, expertise and valuable skills at level 1, level 6, you get expertise. So if there's skills you really need a character with a lot of skills, like maybe sleight of hand so you could steal whatever you want, or persuasion so you can get a discount, or I'm going to show you performance, giving you a damage bonus on this just shy of a build. But yeah, you get higher initiative, a little +2 bonus to initiative just for being in the subclass. You can charm foes with panache and distract them from attacking your allies, which is really great, really fits the character. And finally, this is probably one of the most simple and fun new subclasses. I love it for that reason. To make things simple, even though there's a lot here, your first priority stat in terms of what to focus on is really dexterity for a lot of reasons. A whole video could be done on dex, but if you don't know, you need a finesse weapon in order to use sneak attack and also one of these dirty tricks anyway. So I highly recommend a finesse weapon, but I'm not trying to force you into dexterity. Strength is also a decent option. You just need to use a finesse weapon. However, finesse weapons can use dexterity instead of strength, whichever is higher, and you need to use these, like I said, for sneak attack, dirty tricks, and you also get accuracy or attack roll bonuses as well as damage bonuses on both your range weapons and your melee weapons if you choose to use dex. So it really simplifies things, right? So armor class bonuses, especially for what I'm going to show you with the medium armor choice here, and saving throw bonuses and dexterity are great against like lightning bolt or fireball. If you've ever been hit by one of those, you definitely don't like it. Sleight of hand bonuses, like I said earlier, you'll be great at being a master thief. And you have one dirty trick that actually utilizes its sand toss. This is important because dex actually plays into landing your blind. Charisma, on the other hand, is really fascinating, so I'll keep it simple. With some charisma, you actually get 2 dirty tricks with their accuracy on spell attack. Vicious Mockery, if you've ever used it, is literally a charisma cantrip. And then Flick of the Wrist, the ability to disarm, and the reason I was able to disarm so easily was because of charisma. So I'll talk more about it in a moment, but charisma is also great for persuasion, deception, and I'll show you how to make performance into more damage using a certain weapon. But first, let's start off with starting levels. If you start off with your new Swashbuckler Rogue, obviously you got to go Rogue. So we'll have our Acolyte, Shadowheart. Here we go. So we're going to choose Rogue. I'm going to go ahead and take all this down. We need this bonus and this bonus. So dexterity being the highest bonus, and one of these cases, unique cases where I will tell you to go 17, no question about it. I'll show you why. Ready? Constitution, let's dump intelligence. We have okay wisdom, and we want this bumped up. Okay, so this is one of these rarest cases thanks to the expertise that we can get. Or at least the athletics bonuses, maybe even expertise later. We don't have to worry too much about losing our strength. You just won't be carrying much. Dexterity, like I said, all the bonuses there, but there's a reason I go to the odd number here. And then constitution for your HP, maybe concentration if you have any scrolls. But really, lastly, you need the charisma, okay? Let's see. We're going to go and take... Just pay attention to this. You definitely want performance for this setup. Later, we could take persuasion, deception if we want to. Otherwise, let's set up this and we're good to go. That's going to ease you into a really nice setup. And now let's take a look at our level 12. Okay, so what feats did I actually take for this or recommend? Well, as a rogue, if you go all 12 levels, you actually have 4 feats. And my first one, the reason I went 17 dexterity is you actually get +1 dexterity while upgrading to armor, medium armor value. And there's a real reason we want medium armor because of the exotic material. There's a few armors that do this. So you get your full dexterity while wearing the nice base armor of medium armor. Excellent choice, okay? So you get +1 dexterity bumped up to 18. You're already starting the game great. 2 more dexterity. Let's get it up to 20 by level 8. And then level 10 is when we get a bonus feat. Let's take dual wielder because I have some good ideas for you there. And finally, if you go all the way, savage attacker is an excellent use for your sneak attack, dice damage, bumping it up. More often than not, you'll roll high thanks to this, okay? So what equipment should we use? Well, the harmonic dueler is my highest recommendation. Otherwise, use really any finesse weapon. There's actually a good variety if you don't already know. Like Falar Aluv is awesome if you wanted to two-hand, or if you want to use a sword and board, that's okay with me. This is actually an excellent sword and board type of character anyway. But the harmonic dueler is amazing because if you pass a performance check, this weapon in Act 3 is going to reward you for having high charisma anyway. And now with harmonic dueler, every short rest I can use harmonized. Any melee attack I do now gets this bonus of charisma damage +4 right here, which we want to use for our dirty tricks anyway. So that's my highest recommendation. You wouldn't believe how good this weapon is, and it is a piercing damage. So if you really know what you're doing, you can actually double piercing damage in Act 3. Dual expos, there's range crossbows, okay? So never missers, a great one. Hellfire is really the best +2. The only reason I'm recommending dual crossbows in general is because you can do either an offhand shot or a main hand shot to get your dirty tricks or your sneak attack damage off even at range. Thanks to rakish audacity, sneak attacks, ranged or melee, are a lot easier to get that sneak attack damage. So Wanti and agility armor, the medium armor I was talking about, this is the thing you want to look for. Wanti is something you'll find in Act 2, the Wanti scale. This upgrades to armor agility in Act 3. You'll swap it out for this. It's just a matter of having good high base armor for medium armor and getting your full dexterity bonus, which is 5 right here. So you're just going to love using dexterity in general thanks to this medium armor. And look at that nice 23 armor class without you really bumping it up any other way. So Baneful Gloves, you're going to be using dirty tricks. Baneful Gloves is actually really helpful for you and your teams to pull off those moves and get the effects you want. There's just really great gloves, and these actually aren't the same as Bane. Bane and Baneful are 2 different effects, so I highly recommend this since they're so easy to get in the Kresh, the Mountain Pass area. Stormy Clamor, since you're causing Baneful or other effects like Disarm and Vicious Mockery and Blind, you might as well use the Stormy Clamor to get a little reverberation, once again making it easy for you and your team to get some of these effects off. Crusher Ring is excellent. You want to be running around a lot, using your swords fighting techniques and dirty tricks, so you might as well have some extra movement. It might last you the whole game. You can get it really early. Free action is an extension of that. You can't be paralyzed, can't be slowed down by difficult terrain, so why not take this as well, so you're always that slippery swords fighter who can never get caught. Okay, so Birthright is excellent in Act 3. It's going to give you 2 more charisma. Since we never upgraded it with our feats, we'll actually reach 18 from 16, and there's not that many crazy helmet slots, but I think you're going to really like this on Swashbuckler, because I did. So how did I play it in honor mode? Well, I knocked the scythe out of God's hand. It was pretty hilarious, by the way. So that's my biggest vouch. Tons of fun. You're going to use Flick of the Wrist a lot, because it is technically a bonus attack when you have an opponent who can be disarmed, okay? So Act 1, I was using Cunning Actions Hide a lot. If you use this, if you've never played a rogue, especially in the early game, use this to get out of the line of sight, then hide on your bonus action, then use your action to use a ranged attack or a melee attack and pull off some sneak attack damage. It really helps in the early game to get those sneak attacks. But then once you're level 4 and you get dirty tricks early, right? This is a very front-loaded subclass, so you're going to just have easier sneak attacks, just be out in the open as long as the target is basically alone. You'll be getting sneak attacks very easily, ranged or melee. Flick of the Wrist might as well be a bonus action, because you fight a lot of targets that have something to disarm, and even if you don't disarm them, you're getting a whole nother weapon attack and all the bonuses you can add there. It's amazing. Blind targets, in fact, this is amazing, we'll talk about it, but this blinding targets for 2 turns, no resources required, it's your bonus action, you can still attack them. Fantastic move. So all of this stuff comes online really early. You can even use a little bit of Vicious Mockery, but I think Flick and Blind are going to be what you use now and all the way to the end of the game, okay? Always double check for a sneak attack, though. Make sure you have the conditions ready for sneak attack by setting this on your hotbar and maybe even manually using it, but otherwise, just make sure it's set up for your reaction sneak attack, and maybe you want to have it ask you, but I sometimes like to play it without being asked, and I just know by double checking that I'm always getting it regardless, okay? Now Act 2, this ain't gonna get any more fancy. Dirty tricks, and you can disarm God even. It's hilarious. You can disarm everybody, the Inquisitor, Merkel, Urkel, whatever you want to call him, Gortash, everybody. Well, yeah, I guess you could just disarm Gortash. I disarmed like almost everybody in the game. It was awesome. Enjoy medium armor, easy peasy life. Like I said, once you have the medium armor feat, you're not losing out because you get your higher dexterity anyway. And you now have medium armor, and in Act 2 you have the 1T scale. Look for that thing. Excellent armor class. You'll just basically always be running in the heat of combat with a big smile on your face, because you're going to get even more powerful burst damage with more power on your sneak attacks as you level up. So Act 3, it's the same thing I just said. Use those dirty tricks, sneak attack them, and now you can even throw in a little panache. I didn't use this a lot, but I do like that in combat, if you go ahead and use this on somebody, they have disadvantage against everybody but you, and this doesn't use a spell slot. And it is going to use your action, but remember, with Flick of the Wrist, you can technically attack them with your bonus action. So you really always got a card to play and never really have to miss out. The Harmonic Dueler, as I said, adds your charisma for 10 turns on short rest ability. So definitely find this thing, definitely use it. It's one of my favorite weapons now, especially on a Swashbuckler. And holy crap, I love dirty tricks. I can't stress it enough. I don't want to glaze the subclass, but it really is that simple. So multiclassing and leveling, look for the stars. You can see one of them now. Look for the stars for what I feel is the best place to break off and go into multiclassing if you don't want to just stay in rogue. So level 3, we get fancy footwork. To keep things simple, you know how disengage is used, but you have to use a whole action or maybe a bonus action to avoid opportunity attacks and those sneaky, like those really tough encounters. Well, now you can just attack someone, and even if you don't hit them, you can run up to them, make a hit. Even if you miss, you can run away, and it's as if you had disengage for the whole turn as long as you make an attack. A level 2, you also get +2 initiative just at taking the subclass, so that's really great. You don't even have to take like vigilance or alert, because like I said, you're probably running dexterity on this subclass anyway, and if you're a dexterity character, you have high initiative. Rakish sneak attack makes it way easier to use your sneak attack. We'll talk about that in a moment. 2d6 sneak attack at this level. Then we get to level 4, and I think you can tell that maybe, just maybe, I do recommend level 4. This is a very front-loaded subclass, and that's not a bad thing. That's really great, because 4 levels, you can do anything with the next 8 levels. You can have a lot of fun with cool ideas with this, and I think you're going to fall in love with the sneak attack or dirty tricks you get here, and you also get your feet at this level, so trust me, a lot of cool multi-classes can be had right here. I've already done one myself. So level 5, Uncanny Dodge from Rogue, and their sneak attack is now 3d6. This is kind of a good breakpoint. Level 5 and level 6 usually are. I would say at level 6, maybe, but not really. Like I said, this is so attractive that you might want to just take this. But if you need that 2 expertise right there, just keep going anyway in Rogue. I think you're going to have a better time the more you invest in your Swashbuckler and get more sneak attack, because at level 7, you now have evasion. And if you don't understand how evasion works, essentially any saving throw that you would have taken half damage even though you dodged it, now you take no damage. Isn't that great? But it only works on dexterity saving throws, so those fireballs, lightning bolts, you're just so quick that you can dodge a lightning bolt. That's pretty awesome. And now your 46 sneak attack damage is even getting stronger. Level 8, you get your second feat, but I wouldn't really break from here. Now maybe level 9 has some unique, really cool multiclassing, because you are getting a stronger sneak attack, almost max sneak attack damage, and now you get the cool panache. So if you want to feel like a dodge tank, so to speak, well, WoW speak, right? So panache will allow you to distract foes, and it really fits mechanically and flavorfully into the Swashbuckler, so you can protect your allies. I think that's cool. But here you can also get your sneak attack almost maxed out and still have 3 good levels to do something else with. Level 10 though, you get your third feat. It is the bonus of rogues. You get 4 feats in total. This is their bonus feat. And then level 11, a little similar to that, you have everything above, but now you have reliable talent. You can never roll lower than a 10 on any of these. So if you really want to thieve something, this is something really great, right? 66 sneak attack is also max sneak attack damage at this level. And if you stuck it out and went all the way, well, now you have 4 feats in your Swashbuckler rogue. So what about tech info that I've found while playing, or even helping chat and comments helping me test things? So all dirty tricks give advantage after successfully hitting. As long as you land Flick of the Wrist, Vicious Mockery, and the Sand Toss, even if you don't get the blind or whatever effects, you will get advantage on the next single attack you get to do, okay? It could be an attack roll, it could be say Scorching Ray, it could be your range attack. It's always the next attack roll is going to get advantage, making it much more accurate and also helping you out with your sneak attack activation. So there's no resources. I love this. This keeps it simple. There's no resources even on the dirty tricks. In fact, if you could somehow manage to get more bonus actions, you can keep using these dirty tricks. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so think maybe the Helmet of Grit, or somehow using the Pyro Hat. I don't know. Flick and Mockery are honestly the ones you're going to be using the most. You're going to be using these a lot. Flick and Sand Toss, I should say. But Flick and Mockery, that's why I had them spaced out. Flick and Mockery actually use Charisma. This is what I was alluding to earlier, and why we even invest in Charisma for combat. So both of these actually, if you want their effects or you want to land Vicious Mockery, you do need higher Charisma and higher spell save DC bonuses. But Flick of the Wrist, you may think, oh, I want more extra attacks. Honestly, from experience, disarming a foe completely cripples them. We'll talk about it in a moment. Sand Toss actually uses your dexterity though, so if you want to blind targets with the Sand Toss, you actually have to have higher dexterity, not charisma. Pretty interesting. So Flick of the Wrist is amazing. I think everybody knows that once they play this. Disarming a foe or even God is the funniest thing in the world to me. A little flick of the wrist. So you get a free attack, so you're never really losing out for using this on your bonus action. You might even become obsessed with trying to hit targets, but it only works on targets that have a weapon to disarm, okay? So you're not always going to use this, which is why Sand Toss is also amazing. But if you re-equip a weapon, I don't know if you've ever disarmed your weapon, you've been frightful or whatnot, it wastes an entire action. So this also applies to your enemies. If they have to spend a whole action to re-equip their weapon, you can just use your main attack, and you can also just steal it and put it in your inventory, and then they don't have a weapon, they can't attack you. So you can critically hit with this Flick of Wrist attack. You can also sneak attack off of it. That's why it's so awesome. And you have to use a finesse weapon, so you will be finding some rapiers or the cool two-handed weapon, the Dancing Breeze, right? So there's some really good finesse weapons. You have a little bit of variety, but not the most. Sand Toss though is one of my favorites as well. Sand Toss does give you a bludgeoning damage. Don't go thinking this is actually an unarmed attack. None of the monk stuff works in multiclassing or anything like that. However, you can smite people with sand because somehow this is counted as a weapon attack. So that's also pretty cool. I guess sand is a weapon. But it's stupidly strong to blind something with using no resources, and it lasts for 2 turns. No concentration or anything nonsense like that. And you'll have advantage. You and your allies will have advantage on blind targets. That's why it's so powerful. And you do a little damage, and you can sneak attack off of this. Vicious Mockery is literally the cantrip, so if you actually want to build around this, that's actually not a bad idea, actually. But jokes aside, literally the same as the cantrip. If you use the potent robes, you can use more damage on this using your charisma. Mental Fatigue is an excellent debuff using this cantrip. So Arcane Synergy can be activated by the helmet or the ring using this. And you can also go a Yapomancer, where you use Initiate Bard or multiclass into a Bard, get Vicious Mockery, and now you can use Vicious Mockery on action or bonus action, and I've made a build like that. Fancy Footwork, whenever you make a melee attack, you can just run up to somebody and you actually get the disengage property. We talked about that. So no opportunity attacks, you're a slippery fighter. For the rest of the turn, you can just dance around your combats. Really flavorful and actually very functional. Sneak Attacks has 3 conditions now because of your subclass. It's even easier. Just remember, Sneak Attack either requires allies within 5 feet. So if I had an ally like Shadowheart over here, I could get a sneak attack. Otherwise, I need the enemy to be out and alone where no allies are near him. 7 feet, that comes from the subclass. But I also, if I just have advantage, I can always use my sneak attack abilities, okay? So 3 conditions makes it so much easier to get your burst damage once per turn. Now, target, yeah, so sneak attack with range is also very possible with those conditions, so don't go thinking you have to necessarily be a swords fighter with this subclass. Sneak attack with melee weapons, though, do need finesse, which you're going to need for flick of the wrist anyway. And always use sneak attack's always going to use the weapon property of the main hand weapon. So it would be piercing on my melee, and it would be force damage on my range never misser. Interesting. So using cunning actions, use the cunning actions. You are a rogue. These are excellent. You always have a card to play to get in and out of combat. And thanks to dirty tricks, you have so much more to do with your bonus action. I love this subclass. How do you even play it? Why didn't you show any videos or any kind of gameplay? Well, the thing is, I have older videos showing and breaking down this stuff, or even showing gameplay. In fact, I've done all the new subclasses in these playlists on the live stream. New subclasses only. This was run number 3. I was able to play this Swashbuckler, and I love it, and I highly recommend it, just like most of these subclasses, honestly. So come join the live streams if you want to see me actually playing this stuff in... I've run 2 Swashbucklers now on honor mode. Tons of fun. Just join the stream, or otherwise, if you have questions and you're playing, you're having fun with this, I'm really happy. But just ask questions in the comment or the chats. I'll be happy to help, because you guys are my sponsors. I'm making a bunch of quick guide videos so we can get them out, and you can get right into the action and go be a Swashbuckler rogue. Until then, I'll see you in the next guide.